right, what's up guys? Don't mind the eye, allergy season. Got something in my eye this morning and I couldn't leave it alone. So anyways, get to the video here. Got a bunch of tunes to do today and we got a surprise for you guys today. We got a really good one coming for you later in the day. So first we're gonna start out with the WRX and we're gonna get this thing on the dyno and see if we can make some power. So let's go. Well, we just finished up with this one. It's doing like 260, 265, a little bit on the low side for what's done to it, but you know, I did the best I could with it, and the car just didn't want to go any higher, didn't want to make any more power. It was knocking and detonating, so I had to pull it back. The car's just telling me that's all it wanted to do. Sometimes this happens. You know, the motor's probably a little bit tired. We don't know the real mileage on it or anything, but I put it to where it should last as long as it possibly can. So, you know, instead of just pushing through it and sending it, that's not my style unless, you know, you're Josh Bader. That's a little different. We have a disclaimer agreement between each other, so that's a totally different situation, but he wants this one to last a long time. And the previous tune that was on this, the previous tuner that tuned it, it blew a head gasket shortly after. So we don't want that to happen again. So I was erring on the side of safety today. Just trying to get him a reliable car that he can drive because that's what he wants. So hopefully he enjoys it. And yeah, so we'll get on to the next one here. It just rolled up and it looks really nice, but it's a little on the low side, so I'm a little worried. So we'll see how that goes. right, just got the 18 STI done. She did great. Made over 309 to the wheels and about 313 wheel torque. Graph looks really good. Really happy with the car, and we're going to give it back to the owner now, and he's going to get to enjoy it. You excited?
Yep.
All right, well, we got you all taken care of, so we got this one wrapped up. We got another appointment coming in a little bit, and we're getting on to that one. And then after that one, we got a special surprise for you guys today. It's going to be worth the wait, so keep watching, I promise. All right, this one's done. Didn't make quite as much power as I was expecting it to, but it still did pretty good. However, we learned a lot about this car. So he just bought this car, and we found out it's a Garrett GT28 turbo, ID 1300 injectors, top mount, stock map sensor. And the biggest issue I had was detonation. When I was tuning it, anything over 20 pounds, it just wouldn't take it, just wouldn't do it. So that held us back a lot. And then we learned that it has 9.5 to 1 compression ratio motor. So on top of that, the heads have been decked multiple times, so it's probably even higher. So that explains why on pump gas, we were only able to make that much. So this car is a prime candidate for E85. So he might come back in the future for some E85 and a 4-bar map sensor. Then we can really get the numbers this thing's capable of. It should do 400 easy after that. But he wants to do some two-step action. So I know he's eager to hear what this two-step sounds like. So let's put this thing up on the launch control and see if we can get him what he wants here. Is that what you wanted?
That's what I wanted, thank you.
Look at this smile. That's what it's all about right there.
Baby. Smiles per gallon, dude.
The smiles per gallon. So he was asking me about fuel economy earlier, and I heard him say something about it's a 4-cylinder, don't worry about it. And I said to myself, yeah, just wait. But these cars are very thirsty, especially a setup like this would really surprise you how much fuel they can use when you're getting on it. When you're cruising though, it'll be fine. It'll do all right. But when you're in that skinny pedal, it'll go through a full tank faster than you think. So
Yeah.
other than that though, we're done with this one. And then now we're ready for the surprise of the day. So here we go. Well, I'm out here in the middle of the gauge installing this one. And then I see somebody shows up. Look at that cheesy ass grin.
That's how you know we're about to blow shit up on the dyno.
So he only shows up when,
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
you only show up when there's two things happening. Either we're gonna go make some power on the dyno, or shit's gonna blow up.
It's blowing up.
Ouch.
If
Well,
I stay here, it's blowing up. I'm gonna be like, yo, Steve.
This one is gonna
60
last.
pounds.
hey, this thing's got 4 fuel
Hyper
pumps in
blue
it.
and last.
This has got 4 fuel pumps in it. This has got the
That
fuel
don't matter,
system.
You still got a small ass turbo on it.
Hey, this is the fuel system your Hyper Blue should have.
And guess what, boy? You still got capped Zilla over there. 6870.
I don't think we've ever capped one yet. We'll see.
We have
About
6.4s. We have.
We're gonna see finally.
65 pounds.
Whatever it'll do.
5, 16.
Oh yeah, look at that, guys. We got the bring the trailer tune.
So he's here actually to pick up the Evo, and he's gonna get yelled at by construction guys now for blocking him in. So you better load that pile up. We're gonna get back to the gauges here. All right, guys. Well, The Evo's getting trailered out, and now it's time for the Subaru to shine. So we're gonna get this one on the dyno, see if we can get the job done, because the Evo couldn't. But I'm sure you'll be back for redemption. Get that thing fixed, and let's see it. You hear that, Sean? Sean Price, you heard it. He's coming for you. All right, car's all back together. Gauges are done. All the odds and ends are good. We were not able to install the aftermarket oil cooler, unfortunately, because there's not enough clearance with this header that we're running with the sandwich plate setup. So we're gonna have to do something custom for that another time. But we do have oil temperature now as a gauge, which we're gonna watch. So if it gets too hot on there, we know we need to back off and we'll be okay. But we're also doing one more thing. I convinced him that these tires are not gonna be good enough for the amount of power that he's going for on the dyno. I've tried in the past. Anything over 650, good luck if you don't have a good tire that's sticky on that dyno. So we're gonna switch out these stretched Federals and we're gonna put on the good stuff. So we're gonna put full slicks on it. That way we get enough traction on the dyno to make the numbers. So you ready?
Yeah, as I'll ever be, that's for sure.
Car's gonna do great, so here we go.
And we say bye-bye.
I think the smoke was it not having enough air in the tire.
No, they had air.
It just debeaded? It just debeaded. Tire's fucking gone.
It's always something.
I was so confused what happened.
Felt it. Right at the top of the pole. I couldn't do anything. If I hit the brakes, it would have been worse. I was trying to hit stop on the dyno, but I couldn't. Yeah, the whole inside just fucking blew out. Wow.
Yeah, of course.
Wait, he records all his vlogs on his phone? Really? No way. That's crazy. Definitely give him the big iPhone next time.
Well,
That would have literally blew on me when I first passed it.
yeah, I mean, I'm probably going through the wall. Yeah, I don't think about the car. replaceable. Holy shit, that's fucking hot.
Well, you got it on video.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my.
All right, guys. Well, you guys saw in the video something bad happened. Well, check out what happened. We blew a slick right at the top of the pole at about 100 miles an hour. This slick is toast. Well, didn't do any damage to the car, you know.
I mean,
and the good news is I was about to run these on my car at the track. So if this would have happened to me at 150 miles an hour, well, I would have lost my car. Because you can't control that.
this is the best environment for a track.
So, unfortunately, this is just how it goes when you run tires that aren't DOT approved, like slicks. That's why they say you're never supposed to run these on the street, because there's no guarantees. They don't have steel belts in the sidewalls. They're just rubber, so.
Look at me. She's looking
Well,
at me like you run slicks.
that really sucks. So we're going to have to switch these out, put the other wheels tires back on, and we're just going to have to use those, and that's all we can do, make the best of it. So, all right, we're going to get these switched out, and then we'll come back. We're not giving up. All right, can't wait to see this. Holy shit. Look at that.
Perfect. It's gonna be a nice.
That's
living
like the
room
worst
table.
blowout I've ever seen.
Yeah, look at this part. It's still. It's actually still really hot. So
Wow, look at this, guys.
look at that.
Jeez.
It ate straight through it. So luckily
Yeah.
the wheel is still perfect. So
Yeah, well, this is most likely because these slicks have been sitting for 2 years with weight on them.
Yep.
And this is exactly what I was worried about when I was at the other fab shop.
Yep.
Yeah,
They're probably low too.
the whole sidewall's gone. Yeah. They weren't even squishing that much at all. I put 40 PSI in these before I brought them over. Because I was just driving them on the street and I just wanted
it
to air
actually
them.
melted through the whole.
Yeah.
That's-
You can pull it off.
Wow. Well,
Yeah, it's good. I mean, the wheel is actually perfect. So
looks like the wheel's okay,
just need
which
to
is
wipe
good.
off the dirt. This is like it's not scratched. It's actually just melted on right now. So
Okay. Well, I guess we're going to put the Stance Boy tires on, which at least they're steel belted radials. So we won't get as much traction, but at least we'll not have that happen. So,
yeah.
well, shit happens. It's the way life goes sometimes. So definitely going to have to get a whole new pair. I'm going to swap all 4 of these out. So I don't trust them anymore. So definitely going to buy some new tires for Scarlett before she goes out. I'm going to take this as a blessing in disguise because this would have happened literally on my first or second pass out. So we're going to swap these out, and then we're going to keep going.
I feel like in an optimistic world, it happened, but it happened here, and so we just.
Well, think about it. At 150 at the track,
Oh,
you
it'd be-
crash
it
your
would-
car,
it hit
you
a
crash
wall.
the dude's car next to you.
Yeah, it would hit a wall.
You
so.
total 2 cars,
It would have sucked because all that hard work I just did to rebuild my car first time out probably would have crashed.
and then you would have fucking, at the best case scenario, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, I got a good cage in the car, so it would have been tested.
But still, you don't know. Well, I mean, what's his name? Chris from Track Forge. He lost a tire at the track because it's a Honda and he has full. The other tire had full traction, pulling into the wall at 140. That car was totally destroyed, and it has to be, obviously.
Well, sucks, guys. Look at that. Oh, you can't really see it, but yeah. Well, let's get this thing off. All right, wheels and tires swapped out. Check. Known good. Check. Hopefully it's the last bit of drama we get for the night and we can just focus on making power because this really sucks and it's annoying. So let's get this thing back on going again. Start making some power. All right, so we're making good power. Where are we at? Look at that. 521 on pump gas. 28 PSI right now. Nice and cool. Beating the Forester by a little bit there with a lot less boost, so I'm slightly jelly about that. However, we've got an issue where, I don't know if we can pull this up. Let's see. Car feels like it's nosing over after 7,000 RPM, and we can't figure it out. And if we look here, you'll see it on the dyno graph. So it gets up to 7K and then hits a wall and just trickles off real hard. Car's making power all the way until that point. And we've noticed every pull is doing that. So he's had an issue with this car for a while now. He was explaining this to me months ago on the other engine. For a very long time, he felt like it was nosing over after 7K. And so I was looking at the data logs, and the RPM signal is very erratic right at 7K and up. It literally varies over 500 to 800 RPM back and forth up top. So for some reason, we're losing crank sync. So we're going to try to swap out the crank sensor, because that's really the only thing I can think of. The engine harness is brand new. When we put this motor together, we replaced it just for good measure. The ECU in this car has been replaced about a couple years ago, because it did lose an ECU for no reason, which was a really weird thing. But we're going to come over to Scarlett and we're going to rob some more parts off of her, because that's the name of the game lately. Been doing it for Bader. Now we're doing it for E-Man. So I know this girl has a good crank sensor, because she goes over 7K, no problem. So we're going to swap this one out and then see if that fixes our problem. All right, couple pulls in, we changed the crank sensor out, still having the same issue. This is a really weird issue. Kind of see this with like older cars or with like ECU issues, usually on like some really old standalone stuff, but you can see it just as soon as it hits 7K and it just hits a wall and just starts dropping off real hard. I can actually feel it in the car, but we're still on pump gas. 531 on pump, still making awesome power, but you can see peak power is right at 6950, right where it starts to drop off and get this little weird issue. So it might even make even more power if it didn't do that. So we're kind of stumped right now. I'm not really sure what it could be, honestly. We're going to need to do some troubleshooting on the electrical. Could be a wiring issue, I don't know. Could be a computer. I mean, I have no idea. So we're going to have to do some investigating here, and we're going to come back here in a little bit. So I got a few ideas that we're going to have to look into. But for now, that's what I got for you. So we'll see what we can find here. All right, guys. Well, we're going to end this video here. We're going to put a to be continued. We're kind of stumped on this right now. It is making great power. Engine's working good. Everything's looking great. We just have an engine management issue here. So something in the electrical system is glitching out, and the crank signal is not stable. The RPM's jumping around like 500 to 800 RPM after 7,000 RPM in the data log. So there is definitely something wrong with either the signal of the crankshaft between the engine and the ECM, or the ECM might have an issue. I mean, this car has had to have an ECM put in it before. 30,000 miles ago at 30K, it lost an ECU literally just pulling out of a gas station. It dropped cylinder number 2. We thought it was the engine. We went through the whole engine. Nothing was wrong with the engine. We put the engine in a different car and it ran fine. Ended up being the ECU had a coil driver that just literally took a crap. So I really hope it's not another ECM, but I would like it to be something like that, because that is a really easy fix and there's really nothing labor involved. It's just swapping it out. It's just money. But hopefully it's something simple and we don't have to start, really digging into this thing. I said it earlier. I mean, we got a backup plan, right? We just take this whole setup and we put it back in the 07 and we go real fast. So what do you think about that, guys? That's what I would do if I was in his situation and we couldn't figure it out. So we're not going to do that yet, though. We're going to try. So if we do end up doing that, we're definitely going to make a video on it. But for now, we'll see you later.
Look at that. It ripped through the